Hello everybody, Hudson here, and today I wanted to talk to you about Spellbreak. The gameplay you'll see in the background is from my very first victory. God damn was it intense. Spellbreak is the latest game to try and take a slice of the Battle Royale pie, and it's doing a good job of building up a passionate and committed community. I was recently accepted into the Content Creators program for the game and have been spending some time getting to know it. But before you go off and look for any other videos on the game on my channel from me, there aren't any, and there are a few reasons for this that I will cover in this video. But first, let's quickly go over what Spellbreak is all about. Spellbreak takes a more fantastical approach with the Battle Royale formula. Players can wield gauntlets on each hand that are tied to elements, and those gauntlets then let you cast devastating spells and combine them to create even more devastating combos. You can harness the power of ice, fire, lightning, stone, acid, and wind. Each gauntlet has 2 attacks, and generally speaking they will either be a single target attack and an AoE attack, although some of the elements do offer alternatives. As mentioned, these spells can then be used together to create more powerful attacks. So you might cast a wind tornado with your left hand, and in your right you hold a fire gauntlet. Well, you can use that to set the tornado on fire and create a whirlwind of burning fury. Some of your attacks will be on cooldown and some will use up your mana bar, meaning you can't just constantly spam them in hopes of taking out an enemy. You will have to learn to manage their usage wisely to get the maximum benefit from them. But it's not just offensively that spells can help you. If someone sets a blaze around you, you can use ice to put it out. One of the spells for the wind gauntlet can be used to launch yourself into the air by firing it towards the ground below you, allowing you a greater amount of maneuverability. The potential for combos is vast and takes quite a lot of learning, trial and error to get used to. And that's the trend for the whole game. It's not easy, there is a lot to learn, and skill certainly plays a huge part in how well you will do. Games like Apex Legends, PUBG and Fortnite all share a common theme. They are easy to learn but somewhat difficult to master, but Spellbreak is difficult to learn and difficult to master. If you haven't played Spellbreak or don't really know about it, you might be thinking that so far this doesn't sound all so bad. Equipping a couple of gauntlets and raining down spells sounds easy enough, but I haven't even touched on the 12 different classes you can pick from, where you'll pick from 2 each game. They all have their own mini skill trees you unlock whilst playing. Most of them will work with specific gauntlets best, like the Frostborn class that offers perks like increased sprint speed whilst on ice. There's also various boots that offer you additional perks, or belts that enhance different abilities. Finally, there are runes that will grant you a powerful ability that you will be able to use on a cooldown timer, like teleport and invisibility. For each of these items there are 5 different rarities too: common, uncommon, rare, epic and legendary. Combining all of these items together gives you a huge spectrum for potential builds and metas that will work best. See, now it all starts to get a little bit more complicated, and that's why I think that this game will struggle to hit a more mainstream audience. When approaching games these days, especially a multiplayer focused game, people tend to want something that is either quick to jump in and play and learn on the go, something that doesn't require a lot of learning before you play, or something that you don't feel like you need to master before you can even think about getting close to a win. Whilst you do have this amazing level of depth to the builds that you can play with, it also means that there is an almost overwhelming amount of information to take in and understand before you play. Sure, you can jump in and play in the hopes of just winging it and learning as you play, but as I found out, you will very quickly be outclassed. There have been numerous times in matches where I've been melted within seconds by other players, or where I've tried to third party onto a fight to pick up a cheeky kill, only to still find that I'm getting schooled all the time. There is a steep learning curve to this game. Being a complex and deep battle royale game is fine, and there is very clearly an audience for it, but I think it's going to end up being quite a niche game, partly for the reasons I've already mentioned. I can't see it being picked up by the more casual player. However, if you are the kind of person who wants to get stuck into a multiplayer game that has a vast amount of depth to learning all its intricacies, then you will probably get a lot of worth out of Spellbreak. Whilst the game is still in development, the combat actually feels pretty well polished, and fights can be really interesting to engage in. It's intense and extremely satisfying when you come out on top. However, getting to that point where you feel like you can regularly come out on top might take some time. Watching the movement of your opponent and predicting where they are going and what they are using themselves is really important. Being able to read the battle and how it's progressing, and managing the cooldowns of your abilities will be invaluable. Burning through your mana too quickly or wasting a big combo will be catastrophic to your fight. Personally, I love the combat, even though I totally suck. The visuals and effects are stunning, especially when you're creating big combos. However, I do think that the world map needs a little bit of work to bring it to life, as it feels a little bit dead in places, and there aren't really any proper ambient sounds, but it's still a good start. Spellbreak is a good game. I'm just warning people that it's tough and very punishing. If you want to get into it, just do some research first, and that's kind of what I'm doing here, letting people know that it's not just a game you can pick up and play right from the word go. The development of the game has been fairly consistent and has progressed well. There is a vague roadmap out there that details some of the ideas and things being worked on. If you want to read that, there is a link in the description below. And on that development note, I could also see Spellbreak working really well, not just as a battle royale game, but also as some kind of MOBA hybrid or a competitive arena fighter, and I know other game modes is something that they have been talking about. As I've said, I think Spellbreak is a good game. I just wish that I was better at it, and I hope to get better. Personally, I think it's worth taking a look at, or even just keeping an eye on, but just know that it could be quite niche with a high skill cap. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you in the next one. Goodbye.